Hi guys, welcome to a new episode of the Real Football Talk. I have Adil with me, and we'll be discussing England's 55-year wait to defeat their arch rivals, Germany. I mean, it's coming home. Remember, I said it. I'm going to be singing that in every single one of our podcasts.
Did you say
Adil,
singing? We'll hold you to that.
not singing. I don't know about singing, right?
You did say it.
Adil, what did you make of that brilliant performance from England?
Yeah, I thought after a shaky start in the first 10 minutes, where I think it's like Jermaine Jenner said, just England needed to get accustomed to the system and the feel of the system, and where the safe passes were and everything. Once they got figured that out and they got comfortable, they were the better team in the first half. I thought Saka was a big part of changing the momentum. And again, much like the game, the last game, I just feel like Saka is really, really giving that confidence to the rest of the team to play their football, to go at teams. And I thought he'd done the same again. Only once he started running a couple of times, beating their men, did you start to see Harry Maguire come out. You're starting to see Shaw push up more. You're starting to see more risky passes being played. First half was good.
You know what was more encouraging as well? He was trying to get Kane involved. It's been really hard to get Kane involved. He was trying to get passes into him, and that was another important thing.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was extra hard today because Kane didn't want to get involved. I mean, I think all the criticism has got to his head because he wasn't dropping off as much as he normally does. And there was loads of pockets for him to play with today. What I liked today was Phillips. I really liked the way he was trying to play those balls forward and receiving the ball forward, which he hasn't done a lot. He plays safe. I mean, Rice is still frustrating because even when there's a simple forward ball, he just doesn't want to pass it forward. He's so afraid to give a safe pass if it's forward.
But even off the ball, he looked shaky and out of place. He just looked like he can't decide quick enough.
I mean, I don't want to be too harsh because when I looked at, I could understand. He was getting confused by the movement of Havertz because Havertz was coming in as an extra midfielder or doubling up on Kimmich's side.
Right,
so that's the reason why it looks like Rice is totally out of position. But what he was doing is he was probably following Havertz around a bit too much and compromising the center of the goal. And I mean, that's a tactical decision. They chose not to. I mean, I think very much in the second half they made that switch because in the first half the centre backs were following in the whichever striker tried to link up,
right,
or the tens. But in the second half, it was split the midfielders up and they'll follow it, and the three centre backs will stay in their position. And this, after we scored, somehow Germany still managed to find that pocket of space.
I mean, Muller. Wow.
That's when I knew it's England's day because, I mean, we could have put your whole house on Muller finishing that off. He looked in control of the whole situation.
I mean, Sterling's reaction and everything just says all that needs to be said. I mean, he had his hand on his head. Oh my God.
I mean, that was potentially a Pogba moment from yesterday, like from hero to zero. Because obviously Pogba he scores the blinder and then gives away the goal with 1 or 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
Messing around in possession. So Sterling had definitely, and those are the fine margins. Can you imagine if that goal went in, it goes to penalties, and all the praise that Sterling.
Well, it's not even that. It's not even that. That momentum of the whole game would have changed. Germany would have come on,
Yeah, in extra time. But the thing is, that would be Sterling's whole tournament being spun. But right now, he is the golden boy for England. And today today he performed better, even though he scored in the previous game. I actually genuinely didn't feel he was playing that well. Today, even though he made wrong choices, it was good to see him running and playing with some freedom, and moving about a bit more, coming inwards. So yeah, Sterling is
But
kind of
there was more positivity to his play, him
Yeah, I
driving
mean,
like he used to do before. That's
yeah, he
what was
just
missing. Is
yeah.
where he just passes it off, Luxy Daisy. That was the difference.
Well, yeah, and he hasn't really been that good at beating his man, but today
Yeah,
he beat his man 2-3 times quite well. So, the only thing he needs to get better is releasing the ball at the right time. He holds on to it way too long and then ends up uh, dribbling because the opportunity goes, the runs are made, and everyone's offside. So then he ends up having to hold on to it until he loses it. So just and that understanding, which hopefully after today, even more confidence will come back into his
yeah.
game. But yeah, I just thought of Southgate got all the decisions right. I couldn't understand why people complain about the lineup. Anyone who watches Germany knows that they will attack with five guys. The wing backs will play actually as
Pretty much as
forward,
wingers, isn't
wide
it?
forwards.
Yeah.
So you know having a four at the back means you end up getting stretched every time. So I think tactically is the right decision. Personnel wise, I was really happy to see
Yeah, that's
Saka
what I was
start.
going to say. Not just tactically, personnel wise, he got it right as well.
Yeah, I mean, even the decision to play Walker as a third centre back rather than get Ben White or Connor Cody in was excellent because arguably you could say probably Kyle Walker was the best out of the three because the cover he gave, and this can't be taken lightly. I mean, Declan Rice would have been given a red card if it
If it
wasn't
wasn't
for the
for
pace of Kyle
yeah,
Walker to get back in that was that's what made it yellow. A yellow was Kyle Walker's pace, and he contained Werner and followed Werner's runs really well. So I just think, yeah, even in terms of personnel, excellent from.
it's also a lot of times if you've seen when Maguire stepped in or John Stones stepped in, he was sweeping a lot to cover for those balling behind. And every single time he was getting there using his pace and just being there. So it worked out really well. I mean, Southgate's done that before with Walker, and
I really like the defensive work of Trippier. I like the way he uses his body. He gets stuck in. He's a bit like Philip. We've got two players who really want to get dirty and really put their foot in and really put tackles in, which is good to see.
You and me were loving that tackle on Cruz, weren't we?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing about Phillips is he wants to put his stamp on the bigger players. He wasn't interested in the Havertz. He wanted to leave a mark on Cruz. I just thought, what a player, loved it. But I mean, I actually thought Phillips was the best player in the first half. I know a lot of people thought Saka was close, but I thought Phillips really grew in that first half. And second half, the amount of possession England had, it actually felt like they're gonna dominate, and that's the confidence now that this team has. As soon as Grealish came on, it just felt like a different gear. It just straight away felt like, okay, now we're gonna.
Adi, before we get into that, I wanted to talk about something. In the second half, beginning 15 minutes before even Saka went off, for some reason he kept going into Kane's position. I didn't understand that, and he kept leaving that right hand side open. Was that a tactical move? Because I mean, before that he was turning Rudiger and he was causing issues, and then all of a sudden he changes that.
Yeah, I think they're trying to expose Hummels' pace and look for opportunities for him to run in behind Hummels' pace because Rudiger was able to keep up to a point, and they obviously saw that as a matchup on the diagonal, expose Hummel. A couple of times he made the run, but the ball was too long, or wasn't executed well. So I think that's just something probably they worked on during the week to try and expose Hummels' pace. And I think couple of the clearances is what helped England. A couple of the just before the goals and the subs, what happened was England were defending quite set plays, the corners, and then they cleared it up and there was no one there. But that actually helped England because then that forced the Germany back line to go towards the midfield. And up until that point, they actually kept quite a low block at the back line. And the back three just weren't really pushing up like we've seen in the previous games. So that actually forced them up. And then they kind of got back into their old habits, keeping a slightly higher line. So then when the changes happen, suddenly Grealish and Oliver have pace to run at him. And the overloads were there from Shaw and from
But I mean,
everyone else.
that goal, I mean, Sterling, I mean, deserves a lot of credit. I mean, he takes on two men, feeds it off to Grealish, who plays it to Shaw too, and then he gets in the box to finish it off.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at all of Sterling's goals, they're very similar. I mean, it's that run into the center of the goal, and you have to be in the box to get those type of goals. And he's getting those poacher goals, and he deserves it because he's making those positive runs. And yeah, I just thought the whole move was really good. But you saw it was literally 4 against 3. Or that one it was like 5 against 4.
5 against 4, yeah.
The second goal that came after is 4 against 3.
Yeah,
and that's because the Germany team started to play a bit higher. The midfield then ends up going higher, and then suddenly the gaps that we all were predicting ended up happening.
And I mean, you get the correct man in terms of Grealish there to just release it at the right time. I mean, special player, isn't it? That's why he comes in to make the difference. Do you think this is something England's gonna do going forward? Because obviously, it seems like Sterling's probably gonna start on that side, and Foden or Saka's got the right hand side.
I'm in terms of the formation, I'm not sure, but I do think
in terms of personnel, as I'm talking about.
I think in terms of Saka's probably going ahead of Foden now for that position on the inside right. The third, the winger on the right. I think he's probably gone ahead because, because of the way he's performing. And again today, I thought he was the catalyst. Much like the game against the Czechs.
Against whether we play Sweden or Ukraine, Adil, what do we need to do to be? I mean, it's a defensive team. Those are the teams.
Well,
everyone knows us to struggle against.
Well, Ukraine actually aren't very defensive. They're quite open. Their backline is inexperienced. It's young. They take risks. So I think in terms of Ukraine, that's a bit like playing this Germany team. They're gonna come at you. They play 4-3-3. They're very rigid in their style. They're gonna have loads of have loads of players getting involved in the attack. They're gonna be happy to let you attack, give you space. So in terms of Ukraine, I think it's going to be quite similar to this Germany team.
Would you say, as an England fan, that's what we would prefer in terms of that?
Yeah, I would, because I think Ukraine is the weaker team. Sweden's a much tougher game because they're defensively solid. They stay solid the whole game, even though they kind of play a 4-4-2. It's a real low block counter-attacking style. A lot like the way I don't know, Hudson's teams used to play when they used to play 4-4-2, where it's real low block, real compact, and then they hit you on the break with quite a direct game in behind. So, and they got Isaacson, who's been playing well, even though he hasn't got a goal, he's playing well. Forsberg looks like he's hit a bit of form after the last game. So, I would definitely say Ukraine is the easier team to play because they will come out. But with Sweden, you'd have to break them down. They'll be a bit more resolute.
But I mean, considering the way I would say the ties have gone, France went out, Portugal's got out, Germany's out, right? The only real team in there that you would say England would probably struggle against, I mean, Netherlands out as well, is Belgium. I mean, and Italy, obviously.
Well, that's been the final.
They're playing each other.
Belgium or Italy.
Yeah.
But
So
that would be in the final. So, one-off game is one-off
yeah.
game. And obviously Belgium is definitely, it's not the same Belgium if Hazard and De Bruyne are injured. I mean, I think they're missing the next game, the quarters. So that's a big positive for
Italy.
for Italy, really. But yeah, but I wouldn't worry about it. I think England just need to take care of business. They need to continue how they are, stay solid at the back, and trust the play. I mean, the attacking players England can bring off the bench is tough. And if they wear teams down like they did today, bring on the Grealish. I mean, there'll be games where they'd want to start Grealish,
Yeah.
but you've got Sancho not getting a look. You've got you got Mount.
The list goes on.
There's a lot of quality players in those positions that are difference makers that can make a difference. So I just think definitely, I got a feeling Southgate's going to keep to this idea of having Grealish as his ace.
Yeah.
To wear teams down and then bring him on, and that's the difference. You can see the end quality difference, even the timing, the way of the pass to show. It's just that cohesiveness that's lacking in this England team when they attack
in the front line. Yeah,
Sterling doesn't necessarily get that bit right, but as soon as Grealish came on, suddenly there's the end product. It's the players, he's timing it right, he's committing the players, he's doing everything right, and that's probably the difference between him and Sterling right now. Sterling will hold on to it, dribble, and everyone will end up offside and then end up losing it because he doesn't really time his releasing or the pass right. He doesn't see the picture quite early enough.
Yeah.
So but, and the way Kane's playing, there could be a shout to play Sterling up top and move Grealish on the left.
Well, he got the goal. Yeah, surely, I'm sure he's going to kick on from now. That's going to give him massive confidence. And that's what we want at the right moment. This is definitely the hope. This is the right time to get the momentum that we need to, ride the storm. We had a bit of up.
That's the hope. I mean, the surprising thing is he actually looks unfit. I mean, that's what surprises me. I mean, you got Shaw, who can't really say he's unfit, but he looks unfit.
No, I do. You know what it is? He looks overweight. He looks overweight. I think the first thing, he just looks overweight. I'm like, what has happened to this guy?
I think a lot of the harsh ratings and opinions of his first half performance is based on that more than because he actually didn't do much wrong in the first half. He wasn't that bad. A couple of times he managed to turn.
For me, I wanted him to be a bit more positive with his passes and not just straight away look back.
I think a couple of times when he did play it in, Kane was not looking for it. And after, at international level, you only have to lose it a couple of times before you start thinking, okay, I don't want to lose anymore. I don't want to give up the ball anymore. So he actually was playing those passes, but Kane wasn't showing for it. So then he went into that safe mode, which is the right thing to do. If the player's not on it or not reading or not looking to link up, then that's the right thing to do, play safe. So I think that was a bit harsh, but he definitely looks like he's put on weight. He's enjoying this England camp.
He's eating too much, you need to talk to a dietitian. But I mean, fantastic result for England. And I mean, it's Ukraine, Sweden. I'm hoping we're gonna beat them, and then on the other side we've got who can we potentially play in the semi-final? We can potentially play. So I'm just getting it up.
It could be Denmark, who look like a real form team.
Denmark or Czech Republic, isn't it? I mean, Czech Republic who already beaten, so it's so for us.
Yeah, I mean, it could be them, but the worry is England are now expected to win.
Oh yeah,
true. So that is that psychologically going to change the way or add pressure to the players, and they're not going to. That's why I would continue with players like Saka, because they just seem to be playing with the freedom that is encouraging the other players, and is showing them, because you can see players like
it's a positive energy to them, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean. you look at players like Declan Rice, even Stones, they're playing with a bit of fear. But as soon as you got Saka playing like that, you got Harry Maguire bursting forward. It's just giving that bravery, that confidence to the players. Yeah, we need to take the game to the opposition.
Especially this result against this Germany team. I mean, Germany has always been a kind of like a bogey team, if you would call it.
Yeah, but the problem is, and the worry is that there's going to be that standard overhype,
yeah.
reaction. You know, England are the world's best team. They're beating Germany. You know, the pundits are going to go crazy. The fans are going to go crazy. So,
Going crazy,
I mean,
lie.
that's why I agree with what Guy never said, that England's best weapon is Southgate, because he's actually, everything he does is un-British. It's just not the way England does things. He's very conservative, he's focused, he's articulate, he's intelligent. Everything he does is considered. Is not like previous England managers, not like I mean, you can tell he's not someone who can get swayed or controlled by the press, and that's why he is the most important person in this England thing, because he's got that thing about him, which is he's gonna do it his way, and he's not gonna get controlled by anyone.
But this is might not like
it because it's conservative, and it does get frustrating when you got all that talent.
Yeah.
But you know, like we said, the last few tournaments, it's not actually been the best footballing team or the team that's done the best performance that's won. It's been the team that's been the most consistent and played the probably the most risk-free football, made the least mistakes.
Well, I mean, we haven't considered a goal yet, so
yeah, and we should have conceded one today.
Yeah, well. Thanks, Mullah.
I mean, I still cannot get my head around that miss.
And especially when they showed the other angle when he was cutting across it, I'm like.
And the thing was, the speed in which Pickford was rushing out, he was never really in a position to save that. But maybe you know, maybe
that's what rushed him though. Maybe it's credit to Pickford.
Yeah, and maybe it's that save that Pickford done from Werner where he rushed out quick.
Yeah.
That made Muller kind of rush his shot. I don't know. It's still unbelievable. I mean, that's going to be played back and back again in Germany, and to you know, there's going to be so many memes about that moment because it's been so long since England's beaten them in the World
Cup. I mean, even we have to also talk about someone like Pickford, who I think have made two great saves. I mean, one was pretty straight in, but because of the pace it was hit at, I think it was a brilliant save as well, and the one from Warner as well. Big moments of the game.
Yeah, I mean, the Havertz one was a standard save. I mean, we can't really big it up on the back. At least his position was right.
Yeah.
I thought the Werner was more impressive because the speed at which he did it, he forced Werner to take the shot instead. You know, so yeah. And the thing is, he's not looking as erratic as he normally does. He seems a lot more.
I think I've heard. So he's been going to a psychiatrist. Yeah,
psychiatrist.
Yeah. So he's been going to someone like that just to obviously make sure that he calms himself down and this erratic behavior kind of slowly goes out just to speed. So it's working.
And that's good. And that's the thing, you know, that I think that's the Southgate effect. He's making England players look to develop themselves, develop their games. You know, previous managers, they just wouldn't do that. They you know, you always felt the players ran the team and controlled things a lot more. But with Southgate, he's very European in the way he does things.
Well, the biggest thing is the unity they have, isn't it? The unity. You can see there's a real bond there. And that's credit to Southgate for building that.
Yeah, but I think more than that is he's not very English in the way he does things. And I think that makes a big difference. That makes it, not saying there's anything wrong with it, but when you're manager, you do need to make considered decisions. You need to make the right decisions. It can't be based on emotion. That's what I like about Southgate. It's not based on emotion. It's based on facts, figures, stats, and it is slightly conservative, but maybe that's the way to go in tournaments.
I mean, it's getting us the result so far. So, I mean, I'm happy. I'm not complaining, even though I was upset about the Scotland game. But hey, who? We're in the quarterfinals.
Scotland, who?
Coming on.
Scotland, who? No one's talking about Scotland anymore.
I know. But I'm just saying it was slightly disappointing considering. But yeah, it's coming on. It's coming on, my deal. Thank you for joining us. Guys, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, and thanks for watching.